Hello and welcome to this World of Tanks tutorial. My name is Maxwell and we're going to be kicking off our light tank series by taking an in-depth look at the map Komarin and the tactics you should use. So before we get started, if we take a quick look at this basic map of Komarin, the red boxes are pretty self-explanatory. It shows the most likely locations for tank destroyers, heavy, medium tanks and self-propelled guns, the artillery. The blue and the yellow lines respectively show the optimum route that a scout should take when either spawning at base 1 or base 2. At the end of the solid lines you should try and take up a good hiding spot in a bush to do some spotting of the enemy for your artillery and heavier guns to bombard. If you get spotted or your flank gets taken out, then the dotted lines show the path that you should then take, which most likely is a direct route towards the enemy's SPGs or tank destroyers, so be careful. Okay, so first off we're going to take a look at a tank spawning at base number 1. Now this first position that we're going to look at is the best position probably for a scouting tank using the spotting technique. But the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you are fast enough to reach it. So if you press tab and bring up this screen here, take a quick look at the enemy's team and just to see how fast their tanks are. If you are confident that you're probably the fastest tank on the map, then go ahead and use this, safe in the knowledge that you'll probably be able to reach the hiding place before any of the enemy tanks get into a good defensive position. If you're not 100% sure that you're going to be able to make it, then I would recommend possibly not using this method and using one of the other ones that we talk about later. Now what you're going to want to do is just come up this left hand flank, stick to the far left if you can, because the enemy's going to be coming from sort of the right hand side, and you're going to want to take up a position in this bush here. Now this bush offers good protection from being spotted yourself. Always remember to swing the camera around and make sure that your tank is fully silhouetted in white, and that shows that you are hidden. And this gives you a good position to spot enemy tanks advancing through this village here towards your base. Also, it allows you to spot enemy tanks getting into a hiding position in any of these bushes. Now if you get spotted, or if your tank destroyers and artillery manage to take out all of the attacking tanks on this flank, what you're going to want to do is push further up this left hand flank here. Now you're going to have to be fairly certain that the enemy has been wiped out, or if you get spotted then you're in a bit of trouble because you've got to make it across that big open plain there. Come through the village on the left hand side here, and then there's another big open field for you to get across. There's no sort of magical technique for getting across this field here, it's just point your tank and pray basically. But what you're going to want to do is try and get into this tree line here, because 9 times out of 10 you will find that this is where the enemy artillery will hide, so hopefully you'll be able to rack up a couple of kills as you spot those also. Okay, so the second position we're going to take a look at when spawning at base number 1 is on the right hand flank. You want to use this position if either you're not the fastest scout on the map, therefore you probably won't be able to make it to the left flank position without being spotted yourself, or if you just feel like taking a more aggressive role in this particular fight, then head up the right hand flank here. What you're going to be doing is taking up a position in this sort of cluster of houses and trying to spot the enemy's tank destroyers and heavy tanks that are going to be used as base defense getting into position. You're going to be wanting to spot those for your attackers to take out. Now what you want to do is try and get into this bush just here, position yourself so that you are well hidden, and try and use the building on your left hand side as cover from artillery fire, because that's the direction that the artillery shells are going to be coming in from. From this position you do have a decent chance of spotting enemy vehicles getting into position, but it is a bit of a distance away. Now if you get spotted, or if you decide to take an even more aggressive role, if you head over this hill here, obviously if you're taking this as a preliminary position you want to just come up the left hand side of this hill originally and take up position on top of the hill in this bush here. Obviously cycle the camera around to make sure that you're hidden. Now this position is a lot more exposed and you are a lot more likely to get spotted moving into this position, but if you do manage to make it then you have a much better chance of spotting. And again, just moving forward a few more meters, if you can make it to this position here, this offers the best angle for spotting enemy tank destroyers and heavies if they open fire or even moving into position. That is if you can make it in time without being spotted yourself. But again, it's right on the crest of the hill, so very exposed and very dangerous. Spawning at base number 2 now, the first position we're going to cover is on the left hand flank, which is towards the base you're going to be attacking. First thing you're going to want to do is press the tab key again to open up the list of tanks involved in the battle, and just have a quick look to check that you are the fastest tank on the field. If you're convinced that you are the fastest tank on the field, or are at least one of the fastest tanks on the field, you can most likely reach this position without too much hassle. Now, the major problem with this first position is, unlike spawning at base number 1, spawning at base number 2, the attacking base, there isn't really a good forward position that you can reach in relative safety, like in the last example we looked at. All you can really do is get to an area where you're going to be relatively safe. As you can see, you're crossing quite a lot of open ground here, and enemy medium tanks should be arriving around about now in this area. What you're going to want to do is, this is quite an aggressive move, but what you're going to want to do is get on this side of the hill, and you'll be able to spot enemy positions quite well, but they're going to be able to see you, but they're not going to be able to get fire on you. So you're not going to want to hide too much, as enemy artillery will probably take you out fairly quickly. But you get a good view of the central island, just over there as you can see, and you get a good view of the enemy spawn area. Now, if it's safe to do so, another good idea, just to give yourself some more protection against artillery fire, is to advance forward to behind this building here. Now, from this building, you're not very well hidden again, so they will be able to see you, but anybody who wants to take you out is going to have to come around the corner of this building here, and that is going to expose them to all of your tank destroyers and heavy tanks to be able to take them out. Once this flank's been cleared, or you do get under heavy fire, the best thing to do is just take off as fast as possible towards the trees where the enemy's artillery SPGs are going to be hidden, which is just through this way here. You're going to want to try and use the buildings as cover. Note that you will be probably heading past a few medium and heavy tanks here, but try and keep yourself as well protected as possible and get into these trees as quickly as possible. Unlike what I'm doing here, you want to go ahead and use zigzag maneuvers to try and keep yourself safe, and hopefully you should uncover a couple of SPGs once you get into the forest. The second position we're going to be looking at is a little bit easier to reach if you're not confident enough to play as aggressively as moving down the left hand flank, or if you don't think that your tank is fast enough to make it there without getting destroyed, then a good idea is to head down the right hand flank and play a more sort of attacking spotting role. Basically, you want to get down through this little village on the right hand side, on the right flank, and take up a good position overlooking the base that you're meant to be attacking. Hopefully you can get there before the enemy sets their defences, and you can play some good spotting. So take up residence in a bush at an advanced position. Always remember to spin the camera around just to double check that you are stealthed. Now, this is a good position because it gets good eyes on the base and the surrounding bushes, and it also gets eyes on the most likely camping positions. If you get spotted, a good idea is just to advance further forwards, as this hill on the left hand side here will provide you with some good cover, and again you can use buildings like this as cover. If you feel like you can get to a further position, then obviously go ahead and try and get into some of the other bushes around if you believe you can get there before the enemy sets their defences. Again, the hill on the left hand side here provides some good cover from direct fire, and these bushes here are a good place to hide. Always make sure that you're stealthed. Basically just wait for the enemy to make a mistake and reap the rewards. Thank you very much for watching this World of Tanks tutorial. Don't forget to like and favourite this video, and you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel for future tutorials, guides, tips on World of Tanks and other games. Thank you very much for watching.